Bist du jetzt hungrig? So our last presentation is obviously Jeanette Footman. Brotgarten or Perga Cafe, both, and their final presentation, which should have you salivating. Germans and their love for bread.
Yes. Thanks for having us here today. My name is Jeanette Footman, former board member of the German Heritage Society, and my business partner Alice Matsuo. And you're probably wondering, we're talking about evolution. How is a black German and a Japanese Brazilian? Right? That's always people when they saw the sign at the farmers markets, they're like, how does this go together? Well, the two of us met here in Indianapolis at Brotgarten Cafe in Brotgarten. I started doing German coffee time, coffee clutch, and there was an article in the newspaper and in the Star, which somebody sent to Alice in Germany, where she was still going through her baker's training. So when she was moving to Indianapolis in 2008, she came and stopped by the coffee shop, and that's how we met. And in Germany, cakes and bread go together. So I said, okay, Alice, we need to do something together. And 3 days later, we met, and I'm not trained in baking. I'm out of the insurance field, so I just couldn't find what I was looking for when I moved here in 1995. So I started baking cakes. And then when I met Alice, I was like, we have a winner here, and that's how I met Alice.
I went to Germany due to my husband's business transfer, and in my first breakfast, I literally fell in love with German breads. The variety of German breads in front of my eyes was impressive. So from that day on, I started asking all about breads. And then I come to find out that bread in Germany is not taught as a hobby, but only as a profession. So that's what I took, 3 years of baker's training. And when I came here, we immediately clicked, and that's what we've been making for the past 16, 15 years. Yeah. So what today we wanted to talk is about how bread is special in Germany. And and Germany is a country where there is the biggest variety of breads. And here you can see over 3,200 officially recognized type of breads exist in Germany. There exists much more, but the recognized ones are 3,200. And why Germany has this much variety of breads? And this has to do with the geographical and historical background of Germany. Germany, until up to the 19th century, there were hundreds of small duchies and kingdoms with their own culture, their own dialect, and also their own bread. And by Germany being situated in the northern Europe, cultivating wheat was not very easy in that area, but rye and spelt were the ones thriving more in those climates. So that's how in Germany we have lots of breads with rye and spelt, and not much with wheat, especially in the northern Germany. But even in the southern Germany, where wheat would grow better in terms of climate. Sorry. Yes. There were this beer purity law. And what was this? This was about keeping wheat for beer brewing. So again, there were not much wheat left for bread baking. So breads in Germany, it's mostly rye and spelt and wheat, and it comes exactly in this order. And because of the cold and rainy seasons in Germany, they needed something that could sustain them a lot. And that's why German breads started being packed with grains. So those hefty breads, it stayed in Germany, mostly because the, the wheat stayed in the backseat, not like in the rest of Europe. So wheat were more used in the rest of Europe, so they have lighter, whiter bread than we have in Germany. Yeah. And in Germany, because of the huge variety of breads, in 2014, the German bread became part of UNESCO's intangible cultural heritage. And bread in Germany is really a very serious business. And therefore, there are standards and guidelines for bread qualities, sizes, and naming. An example is, for example, if I want to call a bread a whole grain bread, I have to have at least 90% of whole grain in the bread. Otherwise, I can't call it whole grain bread. And with this concept in my mind, when I came over to the United States, I go buy whole grain bread, but it is light and it's a different consistency. So I understood later that there is no such standard or guideline in here in terms of controlling the quality of breads. And this is something that it is really made very strict in Germany. Even when we go to a bakery and buy bread, it is written 60-40. If it is Weizenmilch or Roggenmilch, the first one that comes, it is the predominant one, yeah, either wheat or rye. And as I named my breads like this, when we were in farmers market selling our breads, gentleman from neighborhoods, he was really paying attention on the way we were explaining about our breads. No, this is 60% rye, 40% is wheat, and then he comes. I never heard this kind of explanation. He was a scientist working for Eli Lilly, and he would grow seasonal Chinese vegetables and sell at farmers market. So I told him that I am a chemist by trade, and I became very interested in German breads, and because I fell in love with the science behind the bread baking. And so those kind of numbers really fascinated me, and I just was explaining how it is explained in German. He said, well, now I understand why you use those numbers to explain about your breads. I guess this was very new for him here. And so, because bread is a very serious business in Germany, the education to become a baker, it takes, for a baker to be able to open a bakery, it takes 5 years. Only a baker to be able to bake in a bakery with baker master, it takes 3 years. So 2 days a week, we go to a technical school where we learn the theory, and 3 days a week we go to a bakery where the master will take us as apprentice, and we bake with them hands-on. That's how it is a training, and in the middle of the 3 years they have the vision proof to check if those students, they will be able to complete those studies. It happened with one student in my class. That person didn't have a certain performance in mathematics is required. And the person's baker master, he said, we can't continue having you as apprentice because your performance in math is very poor. So yeah, this can happen. The person has already done nearly 2 years of learning, but couldn't complete. So the person went to be trained as a bread seller. There is a 3 years training only for selling breads as well in Germany. Yeah. And then, so after the 3 years of training, we have the certification exam. which is 8 hours of bread baking. And then after the 8 hours of bread baking, you have to do the presentation, and then the examiners comes to ask questions, and then we are orally evaluated for another 15 minutes. So this is just to finish the training to become a baker in Germany. And if you want to open a bakery, you have to have another 2 years of training to become a baker master. And for that, you will learn more about running businesses, laws, economics, and we'll go a little deeper into the training in the science of bread baking. But for the students that comes to a bread baking course, that they come in between 18 and 23 years old, I felt like what they teach in bread baking courses is really high level. They have to understand a lot about biochemistry. So, I mean, that's what helped me, even though my German was not as good, I could somehow finish the course. So this is, bread in Germany it comes supported with a very deep science. And bread in Germany, it is eaten, let's say, the whole day. In the breakfast, in the mid-morning, for lunch, in the afternoon, and in the evening. So the consumption of bread is very high, even though it's not the country that eats the most. Yes, Turkey is the one that eats the most, but Germany comes in second. So there are lots of bakery. When I moved to Germany, what I noticed was bakery, apothecary, ice cafe, and Sonic studio. Those there were lots of them in Germany. And here, just a little number, in 1950s, there were over 50,000 bakeries, independent bakeries, which in 2015, it was down to 12,000. Around the time I was living in Germany in 2008, it was arriving those industrial discount bakeries. Yeah, they were baking preparing their breads were at the source in China or Poland, and they were shipping it frozen to Germany, and they were just finished at the bakeries. Not really bakeries, at the shop where they would sell those breads. So from that time on, lots of breads, I mean, the bread itself became of a lower quality. Friends in my at that time, they were telling me, well, kids today will not know what it is a real bread, because that is the bread they are eating now. So like that, with those kind of pressure, lots of small bakeries, they were pushed to closing. It happened to the bakery I took my apprenticeship so as well. It was in Wuppertal, and it was the only organic whole grain bakery in town. But a few years after I left, unfortunately, they also had to close because lots of those big bakeries, they call Billigbäcker. Yes, they were arriving everywhere in Germany. And today, there is really under 10,000 independent bakeries. But recently, it started changing again, and lots of the artisan breads are coming back, but with different operational, environmental approaches. Bakeries in the past, they would start baking 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, be open at 7, and at the end of the day, 7 in the evening, they would still have lots of breads displayed. But it's changed. Now they don't offer that many variety of breads. Let's say 5 or 6 a day, and they switch it around during the course of the week. They are not open for that early morning and not to that late. And at the end of the day, they don't keep that many breads still at the shelf. Because Germany also started becoming very much more concerned about the waste in food businesses. So that's how lots of bakeries, they kind of, either they adapted or the new ones coming, they are coming with a different concept. Because since we started baking in here, we were always worried about waste. So our model is like, we don't offer that many breads at a time, but we have over 50 varieties of breads, but we switch them around. And we bring them every week, different breads, and then we ask customers to sign up to a newsletter when we send out a list of breads we are baking, and they can place their order through replying to the email, the newsletter, because that's how we can plan how much we need to bake. This is our effort in order to minimize waste.
Especially as a small business, yeah, we have to watch the cost and, what we're charging customers, and, yeah, that was from the get-go, from the beginning, we looked at that.
So we were very
ahead of
when
the time,
the bakeries in Germany started coming back using the similar concept. Yeah. So now, and we being here, we see, we notice, we feel lots of differences in between the what it is bread in Germany and what is bread here. How is the bread culture? So Jeanette will explain, yes, about the differences. Yes.
Okay.
Oh yes, in Germany there is very little amount of fast food comparing to here. Yes, that's something that impressed me. And in Germany, we can say that the Brotgarten is a real German fast food.
Probably everybody knows about the fairy tale Rumpelstiltskin. And Rumpelstiltskin says, when he's trying, when somebody's trying to find out how they, can get out of something, he's talking about baking bread. I mean, first I'm baking, dann heute backe ich, morgen baue ich und übermorgen hole ich der Königin ihr Kind. Ach, wie gut, dass niemand weiß, dass ich Rumpelstilzchen heiße. And in Germany, in the Middle Ages, you first bake bread. Usually they bake bread once a week for the whole community, and the next day they would brew beer because they used some of the bread as a starter for the beer. That's why you also call beer the liquid bread. So then, because bread is of such importance in the whole world and in the human culture, they created a World Day of the Bread, which is October 16th. So that is basically celebrated around the world to show the challenges too that bakers face nowadays, and others already explained some of those. And then one of the most important days for German bakers is now the May 5th, which is the day of the German bread. So that is one of the Bakers Guild's most important event each year. So that's where Germans celebrate their German bread. And since 2013, and every year they also choose a bread for the year. And this year it's the whole grain bread, And they introduced that in Berlin every January. There is the Green Week, which is a big fair about food, and they introduced the bread for that year, and yes, and then customers can come and try it out. It's a big event. Then I want to talk a little bit about Wonder Bread because we're in Indiana. And Wonder Bread was started in Indianapolis, May 21st, 1921, by the Taggart Bread Company. And when you think about the logo with the yellow and the red and the blue, the balloons, they were supposed to show the balloon race that they had in the Indy 500. And that's where that kind of logo comes from. And they were also one of the first that started selling sliced bread. So that's why sliced bread became so big in the United States, because it makes it easy and yeah, it's easy to make a sandwich. People getting busier, so good to know. Wonder Bread, right?
If I talked about filet of fish, you can talk about Wonder Bread.
Okay.
Goes great with light beer.
And bread is, you find a lot of words in the German vocabulary with bread. So I put some down here: roadside Pausenbrot, Pausenbrot, which is the bread that you eat. Pausenbrot is something you take to school and you eat during your break. Brotzeit is more a word that they use down south. Abendbrot, which is dinner time, so we still use that word to say that it's dinner time. Broterwerb, to make your money, to earn your money. Or verkauft sich wie warme Semmeln, something that goes like a hot cake or like sliced bread, is the same. Then brotlose Kunst, which is you can make a living with something. Vom Brot getan, which was new to me, means you kill somebody, you take them off the bread. Which was new to me, I didn't know that, so I learned something new too. And no bread means hunger. They used to say to kids who didn't want to eat just dry bread, right? Brot ist nicht hart, kein Brot, das ist hart. Bread is not hard, but having no bread, that's hard. Germans always have a phrase to teach you a lesson, right? Then I would like to give a little comparison in Germany and the United States. You see on the one side, that is the whole of Germany, which is about 357,592 square kilometers, and with a population of 84 million. And then you have the United States with kind of like 9,372,610 square kilometers and over 334 million population. Actually, Germany is the size of Montana, even a little smaller than Montana, just to give a relation. So when I come to the numbers next, you will understand. So basically, the revenue in bread in Germany is 18.75 billion. And Germany is 28 times smaller than the United States. And the United States has a revenue in bread of $25 billion. Also in Germany, you have 9,607 independent bakeries. So we're not talking about these large commercial bakeries. And in the United States, you have 3,000. Bread consumption in Germany, 61.3 kilos per household. And they consider 1 to 2 people a household in Germany. In the United States, it's more like 4, which consumes 20 kilos per household per year. And the most eaten breads in each country, which was interesting to me too, it's toast bread. In Germany, it's like 29%. In the United States, over 50%. Second in Germany is the mixed bread, which is heavy on wheat and with less rye flour, and is it sourdough bread, and here it's a whole wheat bread, but that is not a sourdough per se, it's more like a piece of bread with whole wheat. And then next, the breads with seeds in Germany. Fourth is the whole grain, and in the United States, it's sourdough bread. So now, when I moved here to the United States, when I would go and try to find the sourdough bread, you know, it never kind of got the same taste for me of what I was used to. And I guess Alice will explain now too what also the differences are, what's allowed in breads in the United States and what's allowed in Germany.
Yeah, when I arrived in the United States, I wanted to buy flour, but I came across bleached flour. So I was kind of, and this was in 2008. There were not much of bleached flour, and I'm kind of, what is this bleached flour? Because by me being a chemist, bleach is, bleaching is the process of making something lighter. And I'm looking at the flour, I couldn't buy it because I didn't understand what I was buying. And then after a little bit of search, and then as we started baking, and I wanted non-bleached flour, I wanted flour in a quality of flour I used to bake in Germany. So I understood why they were bleaching flour here, because the idea of a good quality flour in the United States is that the flour has to be white. And what happens is that in the mill, if you finish milling a flour, it is naturally yellowish. And if you let it rest for 2 weeks or more, it gets naturally bleached. It becomes whiter. But mills, they didn't want to store the milled flour for 2 weeks or more. They needed this to be out of the mill and straight going to be delivered. That's why, that's when the chemical comes. And those flour are called the bleached flour. And in here, oh, sorry, this is not complete the table.
Okay.
Yeah, because, sorry, yeah, the first one is, oh yeah, no, yeah, it's okay. Potassium bromate, no, the ADA. ADA and the last one, the peroxides, those are the yes, oxidants. They are the chemicals that are used for bleaching the flour. They oxidize the carotenoids. So it makes the flour whiter. But those are banned in Germany, as well as in Asia. Yes, but in here, it is allowed to be part of ingredients. And like potassium bromate, this is used to make bread looking better. It is lighter, and this is a dough enhancer. Even in Brazil, it was banned in my childhood. And naturally, in Germany, it is already banned, but in here, unfortunately, it's allowed. And like this, oops. And here we have herbicide. Even in a flour, yeah, when the crop, the herbicide is used for growing the wheat, or they stay still in the flour after they are milled. And this product here, it is even hard to say to pronounce it. This is used for to preserve your bread. It increases the shelf life. And all those products, they can cause asthma, they can trigger diabetes, they can cause cancer. And those when we check the label of breads, especially those mass-produced, pre-sliced breads we buy in supermarkets. We see a mile-long ingredient list. Yeah, and then definitely they are there, maybe camouflaged or maybe with other names. But if you don't buy an organic or
like a bed, a bread bake, like, you know, it's smaller. You have a chance now to go to smaller bakeries. There are a bunch around town. So if you can't read the word, you shouldn't eat it.
yes,
Basically, if you
Yes,
can't pronounce
stay
the
away.
word on the bread, it's not something you should eat. And you know, some people might come with the fact like, but you know, these independent stores are more expensive. It's much cheaper to buy it in the supermarket. But if you think about that, first of all, you might not finish that bread from the supermarket, so you're wasting a lot. Then it affects your health, the healthcare cost for you. So if you really think this through, then you will see that buying a bread maybe from an independent store that really uses non-bleached flour, uses
No
basic,
preservatives.
no preservatives, no artificial colors, that is actually good for your health and cheaper in the end.
Yeah, and please ask the bakers what kind of flour they are using. Because if they can answer that question, because they are proud they are not using something that it will harm you. Yeah, this is, because we bake too, when we go somewhere, we ask, what kind of flour you use? Because if it is not mentioned that it is an artisan flour, if it is not unbleached flour, it is bleached flour. And if it is bleached flour, you can find all those products in there.
And even in Germany now, in
Yeah.
smaller bakeries, because of cost, they're using already flours that have dough enhancers in there, that have, you know, it's still kind of not banned products, but they mixing everything together. But there are a lot of bakeries coming that really going back to how bread used to be baked. That you use flour, you use water, yeast, sourdough, and that's it. And actually, I'm pretty proud to say that we are baking more authentic here than probably what you would find in Germany. I went to Germany last year or today, in Germany today, because I was pretty disappointed last year when I went to Germany and tried different bakeries, the kind of quality of bread too that I had. And then one last thing we wanted to mention, because when we started out, people always asked us about pumpernickel bread. And we were like, oh, you're not baking pumpernickel bread. This is a very long process, because that is what real pumpernickel bread looks like. It's 100% rye flour. It's 100% rye flour. It's baked at a low temperature for at least 16 hours. And that's where it gets this dark, caramelized, you know, color from. And then people would be like, well, but that's not what I'm looking for. So we were like, okay, we might have to check into this. So this, or the marbleized kind of pumpernickel that people talk about here, where you have rye flour in it, but you also have purpose flour, you have whole wheat flour, you have brown sugar, you have molasses, sometimes even cocoa powder, butter. And you bake it at 200 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. So we wanted to kind of show also the difference of the pumpernickel that we know to what most people that we came across thought what pumpernickel was when we had to tell them all this.
Because in the beginning, we did know that. The first time we were asked about pumpernickel, the only pumpernickel we knew was the German pumpernickel. But then we came to find out that existed another version of pumpernickel. So it is like Professor was saying about bread, what it is today in here, it is not what it is originally, what was originally. So, yeah. this is something we now know that we can explain. Okay, this chemical version of pumpernickel we don't bake, and not the German either, because it needs a very special form for making it. We have to double put a form inside a form, another form, and leave it for a very long time. So it is. It has to be somebody who can make 24 hours non-stop. So yeah, this is something that we can't bake easily here in the United States.
And with that, our presentation is done, and you can ask us questions. And while you might have some questions, we brought some pretzel bites we baked, so you get something until you get to where you need to go to eat something.
I have a question on, I think I was wondering about, in Germany, there is a Bäckerei
Yeah.
and ein Konditorei,
Yeah.
Yes.
and these are different. And I think that here they're not.
You could pass.
In the United States, I don't think Americans really understand the difference between German bakery,
Yes.
which is always bread,
Yes.
and varieties of bread, and a Konditorei,
Yeah.
which is a pastry.
Pastry shop.
Yes,
Yes.
so how is that in the the statistics you just brought up? How does, you're reflecting what we call but in Germany.
It
bakery.
is bakery. Yes. Probably among those independent bakeries that we mentioned that we have in the numbers, there might be the ones that it is combining with konditorei. Yes, but yeah, but because when I came here and I would say I'm a baker, when I say I'm a baker, it is bread baker, but I had to say I am a bread baker because bakery here is more understood as doing sweets than baking breads. So that's something I came across and I have to explain.
Do the conditorei bakers in Germany have to go through a long training process?
The same process as the bread bakers.
Just for cakes.
Yes. In my school, the bakers and the future conditors, we took the first year together. And then from the second year on, it's separated because then we have to go more specific in each area. But the first year was together with bakers and the pastry chefs.
How can you sign up for your email list?
I have a flyer here. Have a little barcode. You can sign.
Is the flour you buy, is that produced in the United States or do
Yes,
you
it is.
import that?
Yes, it took me a while to search where I could buy my flour. And it is, they have been a family-owned mill for over 80 years. And they have what they call artisan flour, which is protein, meaning it's low in gluten. Because also in the United States, the understanding of a good flour is that when it is a high gluten. But the German flour for breads, it is not a high gluten flour. So we buy from them. And also rye, we buy from them, but berries, the whole grain rye, we grind ourselves to keep it fresh. Like in the bakery, I got my training, we were grinding everything we used for that day.
You're open to the public, I imagine, on certain days.
Excuse me?
What are your store hours? Do you have, or do you?
Okay, we are a coffee shop, but we bake everything we sell in the coffee shop, and Saturdays, that's when we offer our breads. So Saturday, really, we open at 8, we close at 2, but between 8 and like 11:30, 12 o'clock, we have you can come inside, and we have a selection of small bread items. We have sourdough breads, usually Easter bread. Like we said earlier at the beginning, prefer, of course, if you try first, you might not want to, subscribe because we send out a newsletter each week to let you know what kind of breads we offer. And when you pre-order, your bread loaf is 50 cents cheaper than what you would pay when you come to the shop.
Do you supply to any restaurants or anything, or just?
We used to.
We did in the past, there was a food truck duo Jules, yes, they use our breads.
And there's a food truck, the Grace truck, there north in Zionsville.
We
We
bake for,
still bake for them.
and we sold some for some time at Klaus, the German salt butcher, and also in Carmel, Joe's butcher shop. He carried our breads.
As well, but
But-
it got too much because it's really just the
The
two
two
of
of
us
us.
baking, and we bake everything too that we sell in our shop. So all sandwich bread, the quiche, you name it, we bake everything that
What's
we
your
sell.
most popular?
That's the most popular. Or bagels too,
Yeah.
funny enough, yeah, our bagels, but our ciabatta.
Yeah.
Ciabatta sandwich, and Alice, all the breads we have, Alice created those recipes.
And I put our own twist,
Mhm.
which is because I am in love with rye flour. So I have good, no? Yes. So even for bagel, I do use starter. We prepare the day before, so our bagel will have a longer shelf life. And for my ciabatta as well, my baguette, I should not call baguette because there is a standard for calling a bread baguette. I use a little bit of rye, kind of in between 5 to 15% max. So I feel like it brings a little more flavor. So this is my own little twist.
Where's the shop located?
We're in Broadwoodville, right?
Yeah.
In Broadwoodville
Yeah.
on Cornell.
Oh, Cornell.
On Cornell. 6536 Cornell
It's
Avenue.
right next to the Monarch Trail.
Yeah, and we have
Yeah.
a business card here too, so if you
Are
need
are you
to.
also open inside now again?
Inside, we switched to a German kind of theme, the stand-up cafe. We only have high cocktail tables to stand up. There's no more sit down on the inside. In the summer, we will have on the deck outside, we have seating
Spring to
again.
fall.
Yeah, we will have seating outside again.
Now, when you said that all of these ingredients are banned in Germany, what does it mean for those big industrial companies in Germany that do mass production? They also have to adhere to that law, right? So in terms of health, even the mass-produced bread in Germany
Yes,
is probably better than.
yes, because those are chemicals that we are not allowed to be used in flour.
Yeah.
Yes, as long as they use a flour, yes, they will be in that standard without those chemicals. Yes, yes.
Even if the bread is imported from Poland or from China or someplace else, they still can't use the flour that contains.
I would believe the ones entering Germany, they have to be under German guidelines.
Well, because like I can stores import Oreos now in Germany, which contains flour. So I'm wondering like, so how different are the Oreos?
That's a good question.
question.
That's a really good
Yeah.
question,
So,
yes.
yeah, that's a good question. So I don't know if they have to use a different flour for the stuff they're exporting to Germany, the Oreos. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but that's a good question. Yeah.
One thing that I noticed in Germany is that they're coming up with new concepts now as well, and I don't know how new all this concept is, but you can actually watch the bakers in the shop window. So you go into, it's like a little cafe, it's like a Julia's, for
Right.
instance, or the Violin, but you can actually watch
Watch
the
them.
bakers make the pretzels,
Mhm.
make bread.
Mhm.
Is that something that you see expanding in Germany? Is it something new? Has it been around for a while now?
Some of the younger bakers, I mean, I've seen bakeries I went to, I didn't see it much. In Berlin, I didn't see it much.
Well,
Might
I
be
think that's
more,
about where I would expect it.
yeah, I didn't see much of
I
that.
saw it in Taiwan, for
Yeah.
instance.
But I think there are places to kind of bring something new. They might, do that. I've seen some TV shows on German TV about bakeries where they switch to that so people can see what they're doing.
Or in
Yeah.
Miami, Zach the baker, you go in there, Winwood,
Mm.
you can watch everything, how they're making the bread, and everything. See the whole thing.
Mm.
The whole concept of seeing
See,
how things are made, everything
Yeah.
is quite valued here in this country, in
Mm.
restaurants like that.
Mm.
And in Germany, it's slowly catching on. I
Yeah.
think.
In Poland too, it's called like an open concept
Mm.
grid, and so they have, now you can see the whole,
bread
Process of
making
bread
process.
baking.
yeah, you go in and you're in the bakery and then the place where they're baking.
Yeah,
and then you
Backstube.
have-
Mhm.
So they have-
So how can you tell in Germany
which of the bakers are making their own bread, because I know, when we were in my husband's hometown, we bought our bread at this little shop very close by. It wasn't one of these big bäcker, but they weren't baking it there. Most of it's very tasty. It was better than what we get here, but is there a sign or?
Well, in my hometown, which is about 25,000, same issue, the same situation. Their bakery is up on the Alp. They have a huge bakery there, but their stores are down in the villages or in the towns, and they have maybe 10 or 12 different outlets, but they have one bakery. That's somewhere else. That's one example.
Yeah,
Is that common?
yeah, because those 9,600 seven independent bakeries I mentioned, they have around 33,000 shops.
I was gonna say, why is there difference?
Because most of the time, having one bakery might not be feasible anymore. So you have a lot of bakers that have different locations, especially if it's in a rural area, they might have several stores.
Yeah.
Like you said, they bake in one in their bakery, but they bring their products to those different locations. Yeah.
Yeah, and going back to the lady, there is a big chain bakers camps. You find their logos everywhere. Those are industrial bakers. Yeah, we are probably not part of the Billy Becca, but they've been there for a very long time. And they are all industrial baking. So there are more names. I didn't list up the names of those big bakeries. But the best thing it is, okay, where is the Bäckermeister? If he is there, it is independent bakery. Yeah, because if we just go there from time to time, it is hard to say if in this town this is bakery with a Bäckermeister or not.
Could you switch back to the slide that had some statistics, the one before the GS, the additives?
It's towards the beginning.
Oh, no, like five slides ago.
I think we passed all.
Or the one with the additives.
You know, this is not mine.
Yeah, it's number
American
Slide 9.
versus,
Yeah.
number 10.
Oh, the
Number 9.
Chemicals.
Number 9.
9.
Yeah, 9.
I think we got.
Yeah, we got all of it on here. Sorry.
Go back into the slideshow.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
So really what you mean 9,600 independent bakeries? It is
Those are these
35,000.
Well, independent bakeries, because the bakery is like master bakeries, and then they own 33,000 shops because they might have more than one.
Yeah.
Because what, like my.
Because they don't
master-
bake there, they just have the shop where they sell the bread, but the bakery per se is.
Or sometimes they have their stand inside some other store,
Mhm.
but they are part of those 35.
And then bread time is Saturday, 10 to 2.
8, we open at 8, from 8 to noon.
Who's
8 to
running?
noon.
Oh, you can shop
It's
it
a
now.
new.
My daughter. We baked this morning and we're selling now.
You already baked this morning?
Oh, yeah, we started at 3:30, which is pretty late, it's pretty late. We used to start at, like when we baked for the farmer's market, we used to start midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. And then we would go to the farmer's market and sell there till noon. So, yeah, those days are over.
Until 3.
We started baking at 3:30 this morning.
What do pretzels figure in here? Because I'm from Schwabenland.
This is Australian pretzel.
No, I mean, in the statistics, there's toast bread, wheat bread, whole plate and.
That probably would be
pretzels
kind of big,
would
no?
be in there too.
Yeah.
It's more like.
I think it's not part of, because we talked about the loaves.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
okay.
and then like she said, kind of like,
Yeah, birch and pretzels or something.
yes. That's his part.
Thank you.
Thanks for the sample.
Okay,